Thank you so much, Madam Secretary. The time now is 9:35 p.m. Today is February 2nd, 2023, and this is our CEC 28, District 28 business meeting. And we'll do a roll call really quickly. Elena, can you do it or you want me to do it? Okay. President Vijay Ramjan, I'm here. First Vice President Barbara Williams. She's at work, but she's here. Second Vice President Ted Chang. Recording Secretary Elena Amenova. She's here. Treasurer Luzao.
Here.
Members Rajendra Kaur is excused. Member Cassandra Alexander is here, but she's driving, so I understand if you can't unmute. Then we have member Shalisa Dean.
I am here.
You are here. We can see your face today. Look at that. And we have member Nancy Lewis.
Here.
And we have member Simone Dornbach.
I'm here.
Thank you. And can we please disable the chat feature? Thank you so much. So we have 1, 2, 3 things to do. Let's get it done and we'll be out. So it'll be a record time. Let's do the minutes first. So that way that's out. Okay. Then can we please share the minutes and let's approve them? In the meantime, can someone please pull up the school calendar? In the meantime, Dorinda, if you can have on your side screen somewhere the other calendar, or any one of you who have the other legislative calendar, bring it up, please. So this is the minutes for January's. Am I correct, Dorinda? Thank you. Okay. This was sent out to everybody to review. So at this point in time, I make a motion to approve.
I second.
Okay. Anyone?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Motion has been approved. Minutes approved. Thank you. So this was the easiest one. Thank you. Yay. Okay. And Dorinda, we're up to date with all of our minutes. Yeah, we good? Thank you so much. I love that we're on top of it, the game. So next thing is discuss collaborative workshop for special education students. That is from Simone Dornbach. Go ahead.
Okay, so it is so it is scheduled to be in the break on a Tuesday night and Thursday night, the 21st and 23rd of February. That's during the winter break. And on the 28th, it's a joint workshop that is scheduled with District 28, District 29 and District 28 together. And then the future workshops, Joanne is gonna schedule. She said that she got a little bit delayed because of the co-location issue, and there were so many hearings and events to attend. So she didn't have any in December and January. And that's why she's able to give 2 small workshops so that she can have the joint workshop on the 28th.
Okay. Do you mind making, I know you had made a flyer before, if you can make a flyer, something that highlights this, and then we can post it on our website that flashes out, people can see it, we can send it out to the community, so then, because we want people to attend, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I spoke to Joanne, and she said that she has already a flyer that she has used before, and she would like to use that again. Yeah. And yeah, I told her that if she needs any support, I'm happy to support her.
Wonderful.
And we're doing it together. I'm her assistant. I mean, content wise, that I can't support her, but if I can support her in any other way, yeah, definitely.
Well, that's beautiful. Getting people to attend is important, because if you could present the ones there, what's going to happen, right? So that's
now
good.
One thing, there's one issue. On February 28th, I'm unable to attend, and I was hoping that one of you could attend instead of me, and I will make sure that the other, well, I'm going to be there on the 21st and 23rd, and all the other ones that Joanne is going to schedule, I will be attending as well, but the 28th I'm unavailable.
So if you don't mind, like, put it in an email or in the chat and let us know like what's expected of someone if they attend to do, so that way they can commit and they can see who's the availability. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Shalisa has a hand raised. You acknowledge. Shalisa?
Would it be recorded?
No, I don't think they will be recorded because yeah, she said she doesn't record them because for a lot of families, talking about, publicly about their children's IEP is not an easy thing. There's still
Okay.
some stigma around having a child with an IEP. And I remember when my child got evaluated and got an IEP, I was also a little bit concerned about that. So there is a little bit of embarrassment and shame, and she doesn't want to record it so that parents can open
Yeah.
up and ask all the questions that they, that they need to advocate for their child.
Great. Thank you so much. We're gonna move. So please, it's on you. Let us know the flyer, get us information, and let's send all the details, and we could figure out the dates and who can attend and support. Thank you so much for doing this. It's great, and all the support that you receive from Natif and others is great that we are collaborating across districts. It's gonna set up a new platform for us to do this going forward. CEC28 annual breakfast update. Okay. Donovan Richards, our borough president, is hosting his state of the borough the same day. So a lot of the elected officials are going to go there, and they will kind of come to us. So I reached out to Councilman Lynn Schulman's office to help us. So we don't have the same space that we had last year. I told you guys that, right? We had it free last time. It's a good connection, but we don't have it again. So space is and a space to host this event is important because we're gonna have at least 125 people there, right? Plus, and you want it to look nice. I mean, we could of course use a school building, a cafeteria, but it doesn't make it nice. It doesn't do it for me. I mean, I don't know. That's my thoughts. So we try to get a space. So there. Councilwoman Lynn Schulman's office is trying to partner with us and they'll provide a space for us, right? And do the back end work to secure a space for us. Right now, we're thinking of a space at Borough Hall to use over there, and they'll do all the paperwork to get the space secure for us to do it. And also that'll make the borough president and then Schulman's co-sponsors, which is good. We get our elected officials to co-sponsor this event for us. It makes it better for everybody. Yeah. 1, 2, we could put the date 1 week forward, which is going to be May. So if anyone has the calendar up, the school calendar, and we checked the budget calendar, the legislative calendar, and we 2 dates that we think was going to be good was May 4th or May 5th. Thursday, May 4th or May 5th. Does that run into any religious observances, school holidays? Anyone personal situations?
I would say let's use May 4th because May 5th is Cinco de Mayo for those people who celebrate.
Okay, anyone else?
I mean, there's no testing or anything that time, right? Because that makes it difficult for the schools.
In May month, I don't
I
think
pulled up the calendar on
Yeah.
May 4th. It's evening parent-teacher conferences for elementary schools and pre-K centers. So otherwise, there is nothing on the school calendar. No tests, nothing.
Yeah, and our thing is gonna be from like 10 to 12. So it's like when we
Exactly.
Yeah, no, but if
Exactly.
that is parent-teacher conference day, for which one? For pre-K to for elementary schools. So that is a problem because the day that they're having parent-teacher conferences, there's normally a lot of logistics that's going out. It may be hard to get some of the principals out on that day, any of the days that have conferences.
But I don't know about in my school, there is not a formal, there's no parent-teacher conference in May. It's only in March and in November. I don't know about other elementary schools, how they are handling it, but they have other events where parents can attend, but it's not on that day. It has not in my
So
school.
it depends on the school. If it's a traditional K-8 school, K-5 school or so forth, they have different days. I literally just had this issue at SLT yesterday because the 6 to 12s have a different calendar, and then it also depends if the school has a moderated prorated school day. They may reduce from the 4 conferences to 2 or whatnot. So there's a lot of logistics, but the dates that are on the calendar if your school has a standard schedule, you will normally be observing it unless there's like some kind of a UFT vote for something else.
What are other suggestions?
I would reach out to, I would reach out actually to the schools, because I mean, my kids are going to a regular district school, and there was never a parent teacher conference. There was never an early dismissal on that day, not once. And, you know, my kid is now graduating. So,
right, no,
think
but I'm saying, are you like a city, but you said like you're a non, your school is not, well, it's open to the entire, it's not zone, but it's not zone. It doesn't have to be that is not a DOE school. It's normally like if they have certain votes or whatnot, they have certain alternate times that can work. But I'm just saying there will be, if the date is on the calendar, there will be other schools that have that, whether your school has it or not. My school won't have it. There are others, like certain K-8 schools won't have it.
I'm curious to hear that about other schools, because I thought this is something that is an optional event, so that schools can do, you know, can handle the way they want, because the November one, that is always at the same time with our CEC meeting, and the one in March, these are like full parent-teacher conferences.
It depends on the school, and I'm just saying, like, I mean, I understand, and I think like maybe we can take the conversation offline, like just to get through to with the date. But yeah, that's yeah, you can speak more with the schools with that. But I know somebody mentioned May 5th was our as a date, but I'm not having it for Cinco de Mayo. Because it's a morning event and not necessarily like an evening event, I don't necessarily think that's a bad day. Just because it's Cinco de Mayo, because we could actually incorporate that theme into our celebration.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing too. Like, I think Cinco de Mayo is like a more evening party thing. Like when bars get filled up a lot of times in the city, that's what I saw in the city. Well, a lot of my corporate job when I was working there, they used to have parties in the evening. So I feel like the 5th, the reason why I'm saying this is I want to give the council members office 2 dates, so that way we don't go back and forth a million times just to get a date. So I also think the 4th is okay. And the reason why I'm saying that too is, like, recently for the past, I don't know how long, we've been having virtual parent teacher conference calls where you pre-select the time with the teacher, and then you get a call with them via phone or audio. So I think the principal could still do his thing in the morning and come out without having that be an issue with the principal, with the, you know, the parent teacher conference, if they were having it there. So I feel like with both days there, and any day we choose, trust me, there'll be something happening at somewhere. So long as we not run into any major holiday, any major religious observances, I think we should be fine. So are we okay with submitting these 2 days, the 4th or the 5th of May, for just to get the whole, to secure space to do the event? That's the first thing. Lou Zhao, then Barbara Williams.
Yeah, I mean, very quickly, if we don't decide today, if we don't have to decide today, we can quickly ask, let's say, Doug Pate, you know, if that's a good day to choose, because she should be able to answer if principal are okay to leave school on the day of teacher parent conference. So just make sure about that.
Okay.
Make no assumption. Then we can decide like 1 or 2, day after today or whatever. We can talk. It's not something where you have to decide tonight, right?
Yes and no, because I'll tell you why. The calendars, the places that we would like to get to use space for, they get booked up really quickly, and then our options to get a free space they're going to hold the amount of people,
right?
It's going to be lesser. So I'm just saying that we had selected the day before, and now unfortunately the board president having his thing. So now I would like for us to secure for this meeting at least get 2 dates to submit back to the team. Because this is another week. It's another week, and this stuff takes planning to get this all organized. The whole team who did last year, it takes a lot of work to get this done. So securing a date and a space is the first thing that we have to do. So if we get 2 dates, we have 2 alternative dates. Yeah, go ahead, Lou. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm just saying, we can borrow 1 day. So let's say we decided this 2 days, maybe 3 days. Then then tomorrow we should email to Dr. Pate and get that her nod, then submit. Another thing, maybe this is I would just want when I'm speaking, I just raise it up. Next month we have to fix up our budget. That's the deadline. Deadline is 3rd. We have meeting on 2nd. So everybody have to think about it a little bit, and before the meeting. And I think for this breakfast, it's probably the largest spending. We have moved sufficient money there in case anything happen. So this space is free, right? Okay, so that's a lot better. But in the case, we have to think about it a little bit before the next meeting. Yeah, that's it.
So we could always put it like, if we have to spend more money for this breakfast, for example, we could do a change before that deadline, correct? On the 6th.
Yes, we next meeting we have to fix that. So next meeting, everything we can throw there,
Got it. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Lou. Thank you for bringing it up. That's important. Doing treasurer work. Appreciate it. Latifa.
So I was just saying, I do still hold that.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Sorry.
But I was before you, Latifa. Thank you,
No,
Mama. I
sorry.
appreciate it.
We saw your hand, but it was lowered down, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah, because you called on me, so I didn't see any reason for me to keep my hands up. I apologize.
Why call on you? I didn't know that. Okay.
Yes, you did. You said Lou then Barbara.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yes, I put my hands down.
Okay.
Anyways, yeah.
We miss you.
Before I make my comment, I want to say thank you guys for having my back, and understanding my situation at this point in time. With that being said, every parent teachers conference that I ever been to, in person or virtual, I never see a principal there. It always the teachers. That's why it's called parent teachers conference. I've never seen principals on call or in a room with anybody. So I don't think that day is it's a bad day for us to have the breakfast, because especially now that we're in a virtual world, everybody schedule a time when they they go into the call with the teachers and the students. So I think we can consider that day, even though it has parent teachers conference. And plus it's not in the morning, it's probably sometime in the day after school. They have a half a day of school, which normally let out probably about 11 or 11:30, and then they set up the calls after 1, 2, and so on and so forth.
Thank you, Barbara. Latifa?
So the one, I understand from the logistics point why, timing wise, you can have it on the same day with parent teacher conference. That's not a concern that I normally have. It's normally like the last minute administrative things that go into that, because sometimes modify grades or so forth. I just believe that sometimes principals in particular, and we're not only, the last time we didn't only invite principals, we also invited parent coordinator. I think on that day you may have one or the other, not both, willing to leave the school on the morning when they're having those kind of things, because they usually want to be there to avoid to be able to put out fires. Anytime before a grading period or some kind of a conference tends to be a little bit chaotic for those who are in those roles. That's my objection to it. I do think like the celebratory day on the 5th is good, but I would suggest another day as the backup.
What's the other day? So let's get suggestions.
No, I didn't have another day. I'm just saying I suggest moving forward another day.
Can we have the calendar up there? Can you share the other one, please? The legislative calendar. Was someone going to say something, Barbara? Was that you? No.
Not that I disagree with you, Latifa, but most schools have have a principal and 2 APs, so they have to sacrifice if that's the case. There's going to be a assistant principal there, and a lot of parent coordinator didn't come the last time, so I don't think it matters. Anyway, just my opinion. Not that I agree with you.
And also too.
But,
sorry.
Go ahead, VJ. I'm done.
I'm sorry. No, finish. I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, it's okay. I'm finished. You could go ahead.
Then I'll call Simone. And also too, if we give a lot of notice from now, then they can plan, right? They can plan accordingly. Simone?
I just wanted to quickly ask, originally I thought, didn't we pencil in the 28th of April?
Yes.
What happened to that date?
So
That's
to-
not,
that's to say that I told you that borough president now is hosting his
oh,
state of
okay,
the borough
all right.
thing. So
Okay.
that's why the electeds told me that they all have to go to that.
We
So,
invited, are we invited to that?
well, I don't know. I can't say if I'm invited or not.
But
Oh,
if he's helping to host us, then yeah, I understand. And what
Yeah.
about the 11th and the 12th? Is that too
exactly.
close?
Can we see the 5th, 11th, and 12th? Can we check those dates in the calendar?
Guys, remember we have our meeting on the 4th, at night. Are we having early morning on the 5th?
Well, that's true. So the 4th would really not be a good day. Yeah.
I'm sorry, VJ, I raised my hand. Can I ask another question? Are Saturdays out of it? Because those, I mean, I work on Saturdays, but I'm saying I could ask for the day, but are Saturdays out? Do we have to do it on a weekday?
We want to have the Jewish people on Saturday.
Think it's the Jewish people, but and then also not all the principals live right around. So convenience wise, it may be better like during that time if they will take the time to come out.
Gotcha. VJ, you fell asleep?
May 25th is a Jewish holiday. Major.
May which one?
May 25th.
Oh, that's going all the way down.
I know, but I'm just looking at the available dates.
What is
Shavuot.
what's all the blue spaces?
Sorry.
What's all the blue?
They're in
That's-
session.
The session date not available.
Oh, that's the session dates.
I'm gonna look at the-
What about the following weekday, the 11th and the 12th? What's
like-
That's
those
fine.
days?
That's good. That's good.
11 and 12 was good too, yeah.
No religious holidays, no this, no that. And I know we were saying before in the past, it'll be hard if they're coming out from Albany on the 10th to be the 11th kind of thing. That's what we was thinking the last time,
The 12th is good.
right? So we could even do the 12th or the 26th.
The 26th is long weekend isn't it? For Memorial Weekend?
That's Memorial. I
Yeah,
think
so you might
the
wanna skip.
earlier
How
in
about we
May
do
you can stay
5th
is
or
better.
12th? 5th or 12th?
Yeah.
5th or 12th sounds good.
Everyone okay with that? So I'll give those two dates to the people and they'll say 5th or 12th. Is that fair? And that has no conflicts that you all see, correct? In the school calendar or the
Yeah.
good? No religious holidays. nothing.
Shaliza, right. Shaliza, is Shaliza on?
Well,
Yes,
on
she
the
is.
11th, there's also
Yes, I'm here.
evening parent-teacher conferences for middle schools and District 75 schools. With District 75 schools is not really for us, but it's for middle schools
Like
on
I
the
said,
11th.
and I'm gonna say again, there's always
Yeah.
gonna be something someday, and I feel like we cannot do to please we have to just do what we have to
Yeah.
do. We did what we could do because there's so many things are clear, right? I think if we give a lot of notice from now till then, principals who want to be there can make adjustments accordingly to their schedules to be there.
When-
Because that's up to them.
When is Ramadan, Shaliza? What is the period starting and ending?
March 21st to
No.
April 22nd. I think that's why we were going.
Oh, and,
fast.
okay, all right. Yeah, so I mean, I like the 5th or the 12th as two options.
5th to 12th?
One week
Okay,
apart.
so let's do that, right? 5th to 12th. So Dorinda, can you please name that date? Elena, do you want to send that in our chat? 5th to 12th? So we know that the new data on our in the breakfast chat. So that way we can be report back to them about that. So far they're thinking that we could get a space at Borough Hall to use. Some I forget what the space is called. It's not the atrium, I think. It's another space in Borough Hall for us to use and large enough space. And then for the breakfast team, once we get a date, that's when we're gonna start going really serious about food and this and invites and all that other stuff, right? So it's FYI, that's what's going to happen. We also have to think about who we want to invite in terms of, Barbara, I see your hand, right? We have to think about who we want to invite, principals, parent coordinators, worked last time, and we did like elected officials, right? Are there anyone else we should think about? The breakfast team, let's think about that. Barbara.
Yeah, I was saying if you don't get that Borough Hall place, maybe you could speak to Delcy Rodriguez from I will see if we can get the UFD.
It's upstairs there, right?
Yeah, because they have a whole bunch of rooms
Mhm.
you know, over there. So probably you could speak to her. I'm sure it wouldn't be a problem if they don't have anything going on.
Yeah, for sure. Latifa.
So I know we had the principals and the parent coordinators,
Mhm.
but as a group of parents, one element we kind of leave out is our parents. I think we should consider inviting parent leaders. So that was one of my questions in terms of the spaces that you're considering. What is the actual capacity?
Right. So the way we're thinking about the spacing is like, let's say we had like 30, we have like what, 39 schools, 36 schools in our system, right? 30 like times 2. Let's say we have 80 total. Is that fair to say with principal, 2 per school, principal plus parent coordinator, right? That's 2 per school.
Mhm.
So let's say 80 is fair enough. I get 40. That's right. Plus we have the district office. They bring at least 10 people. That's the next 90. We have our council. That's another like 11, 12.
Mhm.
So you have the
That's
random
100 people. Mhm.
That's 100. So I said 125 is a space I'm asking for. So that extra 25 people we have to think about is like parent leaders, right? Who we collaborate with.
But that's what I'm asking. Is the space 125 part, or what is the capacity of the spaces that we
I
can get
don't know
at
the capacity.
there?
So
Because what I'm saying though is that like we did focus on the parent, I mean on the school leadership last year. But one of the things we're trying to do is really empower parent leaders. So I think we need parents in that space. And
parent
then just
leaders,
also parent leaders in that
right?
space. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
sure.
and then also just to stick a pin, last year we did end up not doing our end of year, so just sticking a pin to like visit that sooner rather than later. As we talking about that, just like
So add that let's add that to our business for next meeting. Is new business will be end of year celebration.
right. But yeah, I really do
Budgeting
think
money for that too.
it's a missed opportunity if we do not involve our parent leaders and we just focus on that, because they really should be talking to these legislatives as well.
So okay, what does others think about parent leaders? Thumbs up works on the screen, or just thumbs down, or thumbs up 1, Elena, thumbs up 2, 3. Lou, Cassandra, Ted. Cassandra said thumbs up, parent leader. Lou said yes. Ted.
Can it just be the presidents? Like, because it's otherwise,
Sure,
if it's
I'm okay.
if it's a whole board, we might.
No,
Yeah, we
just
can't
like
we
one
can't do everybody.
representative, maybe
Yeah.
one representative per school.
Yeah, we can't be everybody, and
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay, so then with that, then let's incorporate that. So now we know those people, right? So we have a list now. So then the team of us who are doing the breakfast luncheon committee, let's start making a list of people who we think, and then when we convene, we can say, okay, yes, no, yes, we can decide who is really the ones we want to bring. Because we can bring everybody, right? Elena, then Barbara.
Should we be asking our local restaurants if they would like to donate their space, like the large restaurants? There's so many on Queens Boulevard.
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking. Like, if we don't get with the legislative, with the electeds, then we can definitely reach out to the other ones who could donate their space.
Yeah.
But we can talk offline for sure.
Okay, so we don't have a budget, right? So we're gonna be asking for donation, right? Like you did last time.
Right, because I asked Dorina to find out from the SCA if they can pay for a space. They said no, which is of course disappointing because how do they invest back in the community? So we did ask that question because I was gonna say if we can get a space for free, can we pay for a space, you know? So we can also do a thing where we, get sponsors, but I don't know how we can, it gets very complicated. So the easier route this time around is get one of the, or like an official to co-sponsor with us and sponsor a space. And then that way, as we get more seasoned and more good at this, we can get sponsors of the whole nine, but I don't think it should be a school cafeteria.
My only concern about the Borough Hall is the whole security aspect. And you have to go through the whole screening and everything to
Right,
get into
right.
the building. It's just not like a welcoming experience like we
Oh,
had
sure.
last year, where it's like you get into a restaurant, it's very festive and everything.
I know.
So it's just not the same atmosphere.
Listen, I am not opposed to figuring out if we could get sponsors, right? And then we do a little, we advertise, we advertise here, we advertise there, whatever the case may be to do this. But let's talk in that chat. Let's keep talking. Is that fair about this? Yeah, Barbara Lewis.
Yeah, so Elena took what I was gonna say about the whole security clearance issue. But also we have to consider parking. Not everybody like to dress up and take the bus or the train. So we have to also consider, and not everyone can, unless you're gonna carpool or whatever, I'm not going into people's pocket, but you have to consider how much a cab is gonna take to get from point A to point B. So we have to think about parking also. I know at the UFT they have a parking downstairs, which is not expensive. So just putting that out there. So we have to, it's a lot of stuff that we have to consider. The last time we had parking, it was hard to find, but you can find it. You know what I'm saying?
It was free.
So yeah, and it was free. So we have to take that into consideration also.
Yeah. I will also talk to, I know a few banquet owners in the community, like places like what I did last year. I'll try to talk to them and see what we can do if they'd be willing to sponsor this space again also. And because I love the whole feeling of just welcoming openness and let your hair down, kind of like, I don't have hair, but you know what I mean, let our hair down. Ted Chang.
Yeah, just a couple things like since we're inviting parents as well, like usually traditionally, at least at the end of before the COVID years, there was sort of a year-end celebration. And this is kind of feeling like the year-end celebration only is the legislative breakfast. So are we kind of merging those two events and just making one event, or we're gonna have a separate year-end celebration that's
Separate.
like at its own venue and is
Yes.
okay? And then my other question is like, so you said the SCA, we can't pay for a space, but we can use our budget to pay for like food and drinks and that type of thing. Is that the
Yes,
distinction?
yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Mhm. And just to clarify, the end of year celebration, it's just beautiful. We invite schools to do performance. It's really beautiful. Where we do that at the end of the year, different school performs, and there's food and there's thanks and there's plaques and flowers and all that. It's really pretty and beautiful. If we have to do it nicely because haven't been done in years. Good. So we settled on that. So we got the dates. We can moving on. Discuss pending absentee forms. Ted.
Can someone make my other account a co-host, and so I authorize screen sharing so I can put the forms up on the screen?
I already made them a while ago. How many accounts do you have? 2 of them are co-hosts.
Sorry. Oh, they're both co-hosts now? Okay.
Forever. Yes, as soon as you joined, I made you.
Share screen. Okay, let me see if I can share my screen here. Okay, so. Okay, can everybody see? So we're starting with Barbara's absence form, and basically the form is just trying to keep it simple so we understand like when it was done, did it comply with the bylaws, and just keep it simple. So in this case, with Barbara was absent on November 3rd. The way that she gave notice was that she already gave notice at that time, which is kind of like at the same time as the meeting, essentially on the same day of the meeting. And then she checked off that her absence was an emergency situation, because normally I think our bylaws say that you had to give advance notice, but in her case, she said that she had an emergency situation. And then in the reason for the absence, she says serious illness. I think she had to like fly on a helicopter or something, so it sounded pretty serious. So, and then, yeah, she had to fly to Jamaica for that. So basically, like, with this as the form, it just makes it very simple.
Sorry, just one thing. Just because we are dealing with people's personal issues, I think if you could keep it to the top while you do the explanation, it's not necessary for the entire public to see whatever the reason
Thank you, Nitifa. You
is.
said it before I could. Thank you.
Sure, I can do that. Although, like this, just so you know, like this stuff is official record. I mean, that's why it's on a form, and it's official record by law. It's not like an optional thing. So, but in any case, like I think the thing in this situation is so we have to give notice if we're going to be absent, unless it's an emergency situation, in which case, it's an emergency situation. And then if it's an emergency situation, does it follow, does it meet the criteria of the reasons for an absence? And all the mandatory criteria are listed there. So if you check off one of the mandatory criteria, then that's pretty suggestive that you are, following the criteria under state law. Go ahead, Barbara. Do you have a question or comment?
Let the record be known that this form was filled out on the 3rd, but I already had gave notice to VJ and Dorinda way before November 3rd.
I confirm.
This form was available on the 3rd. That's when I filled it out. So I couldn't fill out I could have put the date that I had gave the notice written, because this is a different form. So VJ can and Dorinda can attest to that. I had gave the notice probably about 2 or 3 days before.
I pleaded fifth. No, I'm joking. No, she did.
Okay. All right. So I think we can, based on the information in the form, we can all kind of vote, but basically the idea is that you are supposed to give notice unless it's an emergency. And if it's an emergency, then it's an emergency. And then you have to give a reason, and the reason has to be one of the mandatory reasons if you want to be certain to be excused. So VJ, can I make a motion to sort of approve this? Okay, so I make a motion to approve Barbara Williams' absence from the November 2022 meeting as excused.
I second that.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Do we have to vote, or just say, does anyone oppose?
Yeah, we could just do it by uniform consent.
Anyone oppose it? Going once, going twice. Okay, so it's uniformly passed.
Okay. All right.
Excellent.
All right, let me pull up the next one. Okay, this one is Elena, who was absent at the November meeting. She gave notice that she was going to be absent, and her reasons. Elena, can I scroll down on the reasons had to do with? Is it okay, or
She said yes.
Oh, okay, yeah. So an open house for high school with the daughter. So you know, in this case, she did give notice. However, the reason for the absence is not one of the mandatory categories. And so that's where there's room for additional explanation. And I think in this case, just in terms of like how, you know, state law and the bylaws are written, if it's not one of the mandatory categories, there is an allowance where our council can decide that there are, you know, sort of like, other than these main areas under state law, we can decide like, okay, we're going to allow other types of reasons for being absent. And if we, but I just want to say that if we do that, then we need to create a whole separate category and name the category and be clear that this is a new category. And then we apply that uniformly to everyone who is absent who meets that category, so that we're, you know, because the whole point of this is we're trying to be fair and non-discriminatory and apply the same rule to everybody. So if we do that, then we would apply the same, we would just say what it is and then apply the same to everyone. What I would say in this case is that, you know, I don't think Elena has anything to worry about regardless, because we're kind of getting to the end of the cycle anyway. So if for any reason, you know, we don't approve an exception in this case, like it probably has no effect, right, Elena? I mean, I don't think you had any other absences. So, and you have 3 absences before it even becomes an issue, and we're already at the end of the cycle. So I would just say that if we don't approve an exception, you know, this just could be like a learning experience that like, oh, this type of a thing is actually not excused, but we also have the option to approve some sort of exception, but then we need to like apply that consistently and make a rule for it. So do folks,
I guess sorry, if I gotta ask
go
a
ahead.
question. So I guess my question would be like, because I feel like if we keep adding different topics to the list, then it'll become like a laundry list, right? Because then we are trying to be understanding, and we're trying to say, well, it's family, or it's, you know, my pet, or you know, something happened on that day. Are we gonna add pet, family, daughter, son, funeral? You know, like the list can go on and on and on. So I feel like if we have the leverage to say as a council, and we know each other best here, we know the track record of each other here, and that could be for me or for you, for anybody else. We could just make a decision and then say, well, on this specific case, we say yes. And then, you know, if we feel in other cases, no, it's no. But then I think it takes a lot of things into consideration. I don't think we should amend our bylaws and add a next list of things. Because this might be a high school for daughter open house. What about if it's like a PTA for a daughter? I don't know. If you know what I'm saying. Latifa? You muted.
Sorry, I'm muted. So I think based on the fact that we went through what the ones are, it isn't an excuse, just as like, you know, when you're sick at work or so forth. Like last week I had to take an unexcused sick day. And then you just know that you have anything else. This was from November. Elena was here December, she was here January, she's here there. It doesn't count anything. It's not like cumulative ones. It only becomes an issue, as we said, like in the case of our previous member, where
Right.
they just were not showing up. But I think we invalidate the reason we're doing this form if we just decide to go on a vote of it, because it's supposed to be to take out that, you know, to just make it standard. So it's not about it not being, we understand and it's valid. If it's for one of us, we'll probably do the same thing, but just knowing that it's an unexcused absence. If I call in because my throat hurts today, it's an unexcused absence if I don't go to the doctor and get a note. You know, kind of thing.
I am here today and very sick. You could hear my
Right, you know, but that's what I'm saying. So we've had situations where we've been on in this way, and this one, she just physically was not at the meeting. And that's you know, the difference. It's not, there's no penalty for it. It's just for accountability purposes, because if she decided to go AWOL and didn't show back up till June, then it becomes an issue, because now we had 3 consecutive or whatever amount of consecutive absences.
Thanks. Shaliza?
I agree. I agree with both of you. There were bylaws already in place. If we start making bias or unnecessary bias, then it's only going to put us in a corner. So it's best that, you know, we follow the rules we currently have in place. And if it's an excuse, and the rationale is clear. And as I said, we're all learning, and we know the consequences or the lack thereof.
Right. Okay, so let's so let's just vote. I mean, let's just vote on it, right? So let's do a quick vote. Lena, call a roll call.
Well, I'll make a motion.
Well, sorry.
So I guess in this case, because you could, why don't we say like, I make a motion to record the absence of Elena at the, what was it, the November meeting as excused or unexcused. And so when you vote, you just you say which one you want it to be.
Okay.
Second it. Somebody second it.
I second it.
President Vijay Ramjat,
Excuse.
second Vice President Barbara Williams.
I will say unexcused per our bylaws.
Second Vice President Etche.
Unexcused, but Elena, I think you don't have to worry because we're at the end of the cycle.
No worries. Myself, Secretary, excused. I'm Bernadette Lewis.
Unexcused, it doesn't fit into the categories from our bylaws.
Member Cassandra Alexander. Treasurer Luja.
I think it's excused because, you know, I think we wasn't very clear, you know, with this, but this, you didn't follow the protocol to fill in the form and everything, but, you know, so I think it should be excused for this time.
I'm going to go back to Cassandra Alexander. Thank you.
I think she said she can't unmute
Okay.
Elena, so I guess I'll look for her when she write it in the chat. I'll let you know.
Okay. Make her calls again.
Shaliza.
Dean.
Unexcused.
And last but not least, Simone.
Unexcused, but I wish I could excuse, but the rules are, I'm sorry, it's nothing against you, Elena, really, it's
all good. Thank you, Dan. That's it, I think. Did I miss anyone? No.
Cassandra put in the chat
Yeah.
unexcused. She's still muted.
Okay.
Yeah.
I asked her to unmute. I'm not sure. Maybe she.
No, she cannot. No. No,
she's good now. She's good.
I was just
Okay.
unmuted. I was muted for an hour or two. I was unmuted a long time ago, but it's unexcused, but it doesn't really matter. It's one absence, and it's for good reason, but I'm excused. You know, I'm exhausted. Forgive me.
Totally fine. I don't plan to be absent again.
So what was the vote count? Sorry, Simone.
no, it's just like I'm a little bit frustrated with those DOE policies myself, because as I said, like in the summer, if we had not been virtual, I would not have been able to attend, and I will not be able to attend in the summer, because I feel like we are volunteering our time, and you know that there should be a little bit of wiggle room to do things like that, because this is something important. This is for your daughter's education. Like I need to see my family. That is something that is important. And yeah, so I wish it was different, but yeah. we have these rules, and I do know, should I get reelected, I will have, in the summer, I will have 2 unexcused absences because I will not fly back for a CEC meeting. That's just not
I
something
agree,
I can
and
do.
I could have checked off another box, right? But for me,
Sorry,
integrity,
Lena, so
integrity
sorry.
above all
Lena,
else. Yeah.
Lena, sorry about that.
Thank you.
Nativa had her hands up, so.
Yeah, look, I think we are over processing this because in life there's unexcused and there's excused things. If we have a bunch of rules and it's to avoid this whole thing, does it meet the criteria we have? Yes, excuse. It doesn't meet the criteria we have, unexcused. If it comes to a point that, okay, we're saying, like, for example, in the case of Simone, you're gone for 2 months or something like that. Okay. And so this is something that is in there. It's still unexcused absence. But then now maybe you got delayed when it's coming back in September that you expected to be there. And now this would cause you to have a third absence. Then you come to the council. Then the council can decide, look, we already have this situation. If we do this third one, it will put her in there through something that's no fault of her own. But in this point where she was absent for one meeting and she's been here every time, we don't have to apologize for doing what our rules say. And then we're not gonna get our pay docked because we're not getting paid or anything like that. You know, so that's what I'm saying. Like, the whole point of this form is supposed to make this a more efficient process. It matches the criteria. Yes, it doesn't match the criteria. No, we don't have to. We're not being bad to anybody. We're not vindictive or anything. We're keeping our rules accountable and keeping our integrity so that we're not felt like, hey, you're being biased because you're excusing Elena's, but you're not excusing Lou's or something of that sort. Okay,
Right.
so I think like we just fine. I think there were 6 votes unexcused. It's unexcused, and we move on. Don't belabor the point. She's here. She was here last month. She was here the month before.
Barbara.
Thank you, VJ. I agree with Natifa, because when if every time we have something else and we keep adding and adding and adding to the bylaws, there are contingency in the bylaws that states exceptions. So like Natifa said, it's not a pity party. Like we're saying, oh, she's not going to give me a right to work tomorrow because I voted unexcused. So there's no explanation needed. I explained that it's not in the bylaws, and that's why I'm voting unexcused.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything, like Natifa said, for Elena to worry about. This is her last year anyway. So even if she got 3 absence, and what are they gonna do? Kick her off June? She's done. She's graduating out, going to high school. So what's the difference? If mine was unexcused, I'm not gonna cry. It's just one unexcused, and it doesn't, it does not comply with the bylaws. So you don't need for us to have a long delay over it and to explain to anyone why we are voting unexcused.
Right.
Versus what we said before already when we made the vote. You understand what I'm saying?
Got it. Thank you
So
much.
I know some of us are soft-hearted and we wear our heart on our sleeves, but if you're gonna lose $250, maybe I will cry, but I'm not losing anything. I don't care.
I'll excuse all of you because you know what? I think you'll do a lot. That's just why. Just so you know, if you need a break, take a break. I don't care what's happening to you. This is volunteer, and I support you taking a mental day and say, you know what? I want to deal with CC today. Go for it. I'm here with you. So no matter what you put, guess what? You got it. Take a mental
also,
break.
VJ, look at the fact that I'm at work. I'm here, but I can't speak. What if they had put it in the bylaws that says, if my name is called and I don't answer with my voice, I'm absent.
That's why I come in.
You see what I'm saying? Then
Here.
it's up to the council to say, if I, yeah, I'm here in person, but is my body's here, but is my mind on the other side of town, or is my mind here and my body's on the other side of town? It's up to the council to make a decision on that one, but that's not in the bylaws. So if it's a vote that says, oh, Barbara didn't answer because she's in a hospital still working, that she can't answer her phone because patients are going to get confused wondering why she's saying present, You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then the council have to decide on that. I'm not gonna, lose my mind or need anybody to hold my hand across the street while they're voting that I'm unexcused because I did not say present when my name was called. It's the same thing.
I got your back. Okay, Ted, go ahead and we move.
Yeah, no, I just want to say, so I guess we're shorthanded. One person, Reg Winder's not here tonight. And then we also have a vacant seat. So that means we have 9 people. So I think the final vote was 6-3.
Thank you.
Unexcused.
Okay. So, and are you done?
We've got one more to go.
Go for it.
Okay, and then the last one is Cassandra for the December meeting. So she said that she did not give 72 hours notice, but she had an emergency situation. It was a job-related conflict and has to do with her auditor job, which, I think even tonight she's like, she's like still at work while she's at the meeting. So, clearly, we know Cassandra's situation is pretty, her work bleeds into the evening sometimes. So
The motion, Ted.
yeah, this one seems like it fits the mandatory criteria. So I'm going to make a motion to approve Cassandra Alexander's absence from the December 2022 meeting as excused.
I second that.
Okay, roll call.
Are you able to do it?
Anyone against it? Can we just do it quickly?
Yeah, anyone
So
against?
I had, well, not about being against it, but which of our criteria does it match though? Because I'm saying like, this is a job related conflict or so forth, but I don't think we had that on there. And again, it's not about being personal
No, it
or
was there.
whatnot,
It was always
right?
there.
There is a job related conflict.
Job
Yes.
conflicts is a mandatory
always-
Oh, okay.
criteria.
All right. Yeah, no. That was just my question. Okay, so then yes.
So
Yeah.
is anyone objecting to this as being unexcused? Going
You,
once,
you mean excused?
excused. Going once, going
We have to
twice.
vote on it, VJ, no matter what. Going twice, sold, we have to vote.
Okay, so call
And
those.
then we have to vote for Barbara's as well. The first one, because we just.
No, we don't have to vote. We don't have to vote. If there's no objection, then we can just unanimous consent is fine.
All right, thank you.
All right, so everyone is good. Thank you, Ted. Thank you for doing this. I appreciate next month we have to do one for Raj Window, right? And then that will be that. And thank you for doing this, Ted. I appreciate it. It's very thorough. I appreciate that. Any old business? Anyone? Going once, going twice. New business. I know we spoke about the end of year celebration gonna be new business for next month. And you have until the 15th of February to send us notes. Anything you want to add to the business calendar meeting, council members? Anything you want to be added to the business calendar meeting, send it by the 15th of the month. If you have suggestions of something that you want to see on the calendar meeting, a presentation or someone to present, please send that suggestion to myself on the render by the 15th of February, please. Latifa. You muted. I know, right? You never did.
But just on the same end of year thing, even though we are going to put it on the next business meeting, I do suggest that members, as you attend your SLTs or whatever else, or in contact with your schools, that you start giving them FYI, we are looking to do this, so that you can start identifying maybe performances or whatever else. So one of the issues last year was also like the timing and I guess the organization part. This year, since everyone's back in person, we didn't have the Omicron craziness in January. It's a good time. If we start now, you can definitely get an answer maybe by April that yes, a school will be preparing something or whatnot.
Sure. Thank you so much. Okay, so the time now is 10:34. This meeting is adjourned.
I just want to ask Elena a question.